Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with the Prydwen tier list update for Wuthering Waves Anniversary. And I'm going to be honest over here, this is going to be a tier list update that's going to cover potentially a lot of different categories. It might also be split up into 2 videos. We'll let you know about that one because, well, as we all know, the anniversary update is a pretty big one. And when it comes to an anniversary update, it's not just the games that end up changing. Sometimes it's the official resources too. So without further ado, let's just go ahead, get right on into the changelog and see what's occurred on April 30th. The big real update over here, the value tier list that so many individuals were flaming Prydwen for in a previous update. It has actually been reintroduced separately for the curious and players looking to determine what units are going to give you the most bang for your buck on your account. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the definition of value. It's something where when you spend a certain number of astrites, how many teams are you going to be able to build with a unit? How many teams are you going to be able to use that unit on and get a high amount of performance? And typically should be used as a way for people to measure, well, what the most cost-efficient units in the game are actually going to be. So we might be taking a look at that one later. It just depends on how short this overall update for Hiyuki is. Feel free to check it out on its own separate tab. Just to give you a look at it over here, right underneath me right there. You got the tier list, the value tier list, and the teams one. Yeah, feel free to check it out on the separate tab if you want. So other than that, Hiyuki has released and has brought alongside her a wave of small meta changes. So let's cover what's changed in the TOA right away. So, as you probably guessed, Hiyuki added as a tier 0. To put it simply, Hiyuki does a lot of damage in her best team. Enough to match up with meta powerhouses like Imith and Sigrika, the 2 highest DPS units in the game in their appropriate teams, which warrants her being put on the same tier. And that is currently without a Glacio Chafe support release for her. So this is kind of like the reality that I want to talk about. Ooh, so sorry, I'm not spending money. It's the reality that I want to talk about over here when it comes to good old Hiyuki. If you take a look at this inherent skill over here, Find Snow. Snow Rust is this buff that she gets, right? Whenever she has a character on her team that applies Glacio Chafe or Havoc Bane. And currently, you're only able to get 2 stacks of this buff. One from Hiyuki, and then the other stack from Chisa. There's still a 3rd character that needs to be released that basically applies Glacio Chafe as a bit more of a sub DPS and then also buffs Glacio damage. And then that 3rd character is going to give her access to her 3rd stack over here that amplifies Glacio Bite damage by an additional 30%. The first 2 stacks, like I said before, they're pretty good, but the first stack is kind of like where most of her stat increases are, that 40% crit damage. So the end result, guys, is that Hiyuki is expected to be a good bit stronger, maybe not wildly stronger than her current best-in-slot team that features her, and then Lene, and then Chisa. Lene is still doing pretty decent right now, especially because of her ability to buff liberation damage by such a high amount. Yeah, you can kind of see it over here, that 25% liberation, 50% all damage amplification. It ends up working out pretty good for Hiyuki, regardless, even in that Chisa team. So the end result, right, is that, well, there's a high level of performance happening over here. And so while Hiyuki is currently restricted on some teammate choices requiring at least Lene or Chisa to perform, you do kind of need one of those. Her damage numbers in her best team speak for themselves. So yeah. If you were to make a decision on who to prioritize when it comes to Hiyuki, I would recommend Chisa, because Chisa feels like she kind of has more workable, more powerful team compositions with Hiyuki, especially because you rely less on the buffing and more on the negative status damage to kind of like carry what's happening over here. Rover Arrow has been bumped down from tier 0.5 to tier 1. With Hiyuki's release and Chisa gaining relevancy but not being quite tier 0 yet, Arrow Rover again is getting pushed out of their best team, the Cardathea one, due to lacking in performance compared to Chisa, with Chisa's signature included in the rating. Rover, Arrow, Rover is actually better than Chisa if you don't have Chisa's sig. Do keep that in mind. So this bump down is really only factoring in a well-invested Chisa. They were lowered for this reason. They don't belong in the same tier as her, Not to mention that Cardathea isn't really quite the ceiling of damage dealers like she used to be back in version like 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 when she was released before. There are kind of like 3 teammates or 3 kind of like DPSs that feel like they're doing a bit more than her right now. And specifically when it comes to Arrow, let's be honest, Sigrika's team is like a good bit stronger and the units on it are just like kind of better. Like Shu Yan is a more valuable unit
I'm ready.
than Chakona. I'm sorry to say that, but that's kind of just like the truth, and there's no denying it at this point. It's better to pull Sigrika Chuyan than it is to pull Chakona Cardathea in like 99% of situations, and like otherwise you're just denying reality here. Chisa, she's also being put on the watch list. The watch list up basically means that they might push her up a tier based off of like some future calculations, some future kind of like looks in this version. Chisa isn't quite tier 0 yet, but with Denya being the future Fusion Burst support for Imeth, remember that, they're basically saying in 3.2, ladies and gentlemen, she's probably going to be tier 0 because then the Fusion Burst team is going to be here. This would give Chisa multiple teams where she's top tier and the best in slot. Cardathea, Chakona, Hiyuki, Lene, and then Denya Imeth. Meaning that she may join the other supports in tier 0 were that to be the case. Yeah, she got released in 2.8 and she's only had one team for like almost a whole fucking year at this point. Yeah, that was November, guys, 2.8, and she got her second team on May 1st. She was put on the watch list for this reason. Wait for Denya's release for further confirmation. I would put like money that Chisa moves up to tier 0 once the second half of 3.3 is here. That's just my personal take on it. And I think to believe otherwise is probably means you're on crack. We got the Ling Yang. From tier 4 to tier 3. Ling Yang's performance in TOA sits closer to Zhang Liao than Calchoro with the release of Lene and Mornier featuring additional techs that allow him to deal more skill and diligent practice damage, boosting his performance out of tier 3. The new rotation is being added to the site very shortly. So I guess people found out like a secret new forbidden Ling Yang tech that makes him broken. And I assume you can do it without having 20 ping, like Calcharo's 4 Death Messengers. Broken for a standard character, I guess. Sure. That's crazy. Those are going to be the TOA changes. So why don't we go ahead and see what the reviewed changelog looks like over here in the TOA and kind of get it going from there. Naturally, we're gonna be starting off with the tier 0 first, and then kind of like break down, look at some of the categories. All right, let me just make my camera a little bit smaller so you can see the perfect. So in tier 0, we got Imeth, Hiyuki, and Sigrika. I don't think that this surprises anybody here, if we're going to be honest. Remember, this is TOA, single target, typically minor AoE. Imeth is still, without a doubt, in her Toon Rupture team, one of the strongest DPSs in the game. And I feel like one thing that kind of like diminishes how strong she actually feels is the fact that she's consistently shilled in the TOA in the most ridiculous ways possible. There's almost always like a Toon Rupture buff, a Liberation damage buff, or something along those lines. She doesn't need that shit. Like, you could have the most unshilled 0 buff TOA, and if you have a built Imeth, she's going to clear everything. So it's kind of just like, I think most people can tell she's really, really, really good. We gotta wait and see, though, how actually amazingly good she is once that Denya team releases. That focuses on Fusion Burst. This specialization over here that we have not used yet in the history of the fucking game, right? We have not used this shit yet. So when Denya releases, and then we also get, Chisa getting some use cases over here, I think that's when we'll be able to fully decide just how strong this character is. But as far as I'm concerned, Fusion Burst is supposed to be worse in single target and better in AoE. So it could just be that Imeth doesn't move at all because the Fusion Burst team is just worse than her Toon Rupture one in most, like, bossing content. Next up, Hiyuki. I think it's pretty clear over here that everyone knows that Hiyuki is really, really strong at this point. I will say, Hiyuki is a little bit hard to play. From the perspective of, she's very prone to interruption, and if you don't do her rotation properly, you gotta restart. Yeah, that's kind of like the main thing with her. Imeth is without a doubt the easiest character in tier 0. And if you're somebody that has like a bit of a skill issue, you're not that great at the game, but you still want to pop off and clear content, Imeth is the unit to go for. Hiyuki and Denya, on the other hand, you kind of have to have gameplay sense and hands to play them properly. Hiyuki is easier, though, than Sigrika. Sigrika is the hardest team out of all of these because Chuyan is a hard sub-DPS to play. And Sigrika is also more difficult than Hiyuki to play. The main reason for that is Hiyuki and Sigrika need to have like uninterrupted or very well-timed dodges to not get hit by the enemy in the middle of their rotation. And if you don't do that, your shit is bricked. Sigrika has to do like 2 uninterrupted basic chains though. And then she also has to find a way to not have Chuyan knocked around when he's doing his Echo skill cast. So this is actually a good ranking for them because you can do it in terms of difficulty. Easiest, brain dead, slightly more difficult, and like a low key should have an expert tag because you're going to be resetting so often with her. And you're going to lose your outro skill buffs, at least on these 2. Next up, we got the sub DPSs. I don't know if Chakota belongs here anymore. I'm going to make that take. I don't know if Chakota belongs here anymore. That's what I'll personally say. I don't think the Cardathea team is like really up to spec anymore, and you'll see it yourself when you go into like floor 3 or floor 4 of the TOA. You're going to have kind of a rough fucking time. Using her in a lot of teams. Like it's not really that. She's really good in like goofy, fun arrow teams, but like in terms of like meta, I don't really know, man. Lupa, on the other hand, I do think Lupa is still going to be like a consistent mono fusion performer, simply due to the fact that as long as Mornier exists in the game, I don't think Lupa can leave this tier. Because Lupa plus Mornier plus like any other character is like incredibly fucking strong, bro. Yeah, they're incredibly fucking ridiculous. So I do think a lot of people should prioritize getting this unit as long as you have Mornier, because then you open up so many different team compositions for yourself moving forward. You got like Galbreda, you got Galbreda, you got Brant, you got any future fusion DPS that ends up coming out because they just buff fusion damage unilaterally. You can also run Ameth in this team too, and it works. That's kind of fucking nuts. Then you got Lene. Yeah, I think everyone knows that Lene at this point is the most flexible sub DPS in the game that gets so much fucking stuff done in so many different team comps. And then you can run Lene with Mornier too. Lene with Mornier is arguably more valuable than Lupa Mornier, because Lupa Mornier, you can only use fusion units in the 3rd slot. Lene Mornier, you can use almost any unit in the game in the 3rd slot. Some of them won't really clear that well, but a lot of them still will. And then we got Chuyan. Chuyan has the amazing tool of versatility when it comes to his performance. Chuyan is without a doubt probably the most versatile unit in the game, simply from this perspective. Or probably second most after Lene. He buffs Echo skill damage, and he just buffs 50% Echo skill damage. That basically just means as long as somebody's an Echo skill damage dealer, he's going to be their best in slot buffer. And well, guess what? We have a half Echo skill damage dealer with Galbrena. Chuyan's really good with her. Then you got Sigrika. Chuyan is ridiculous with her. And then you got Frolova. Chuyan is ridiculous with her. That's Havoc covered, that's Fusion covered, and then that's Arrow covered. Wait until we have the Glacial Echo skill damage dealer. Wait until we have the Spectro Echo skill damage dealer, right? They should be releasing at some point in like whatever future exists for this game. I would be surprised if they didn't. And that means that he's always going to be there. He's always going to be good. He might not be as like he's probably he's a bit more specialized than Lene, but his buff is better too. And the end result is just like, he's always a fantastic pull. He's also kind of like the only tier 0 male, and he's like a sort of like a support. So yeah, that's kind of like his main drawback is having a penis. Now we got the support characters, Mornier and Shorekeeper. Mornier is a little bit specialized. Mornier is not really good unless you have Lene, Lupa, or a Toon Break character. But there are so many Toon Break characters at this point that I think she's fine in tier 0 for now. Yeah. But if you don't have any tune, none of that stuff, she's kind of shit. Or you need her S1, yeah. But her S1 doesn't do that much outside of monofusion teams at that point. Do keep that in mind. If you already have tune characters, and then you have S1 Mornier, you're getting not that much value out of it. But if you have Mornier's S1, and then Lupa, that's really where she gets a lot of value in teams. So do keep that in mind. And it's probably better, I don't know, it's probably better to, like, get an actual tune character than, like, get S1 Mornier so you could use her with... Are you really gonna use Mornier over Shorekeeper at any team? I'm just wondering. Like, are you actually going to use S1 Mornier over Shorekeeper at any team? Imith team. What's the difference between an S1 and an S0 Mornier in the Imith team? This is the thing. S1 Mornier is only real with Lupa in monofusion teams. Because in 99% of circumstances, you're just going to prefer using Shorekeeper for her crit buffs instead. You're not going to be like, yeah, so I used S1 Mornier with my Sanhua Camellia. No, bitch, you're using Shorekeeper. That's kind of just the reality over here. So yeah, S1 Mornier, kind of only for monofusion teams, but then monofusion teams do well without S1 Mornier. But then she takes them, she basically, like, goes fucking crazy with, like, if you do Galbrina, Lupa, and S1 Mornier, you're gonna, like, it fucking ruins the game. It's low-key too strong. Anyways, I've already talked about it, but Shorekeeper is still broken with her crit damage buffs. But Shorekeeper's losing value, specifically for units like Hiyuki and Imith, who reach 100% crit without any external crit buffs. Yes, it is actually retardedly easy to get 100% crit with both of these characters without any external crit buffs. Because Hiyuki set gives her 25% crit rate, and Imith set gives her 20. Oh, yeah, Sagrika's also gives her 22. Sorry, all three of these characters can get 100% crit rate without Shorekeeper. It's a little bit absurd. Yeah, 25%, 20, 20. It's a little ridiculous. However, it's also fair to say this. They might be too strong, but they also arguably make the characters easier to build. Because guess what? If your Echo rolls are dog shit, you'll still have like 90% crit. If your Echo rolls are bad, you'll still have 90% crit. So it actually makes it easier to build them to clear. Does that make sense? It's arguably player friendly if you, like, pull them. Hiyuki also doesn't need ER. Noisy, are you on drugs? What do you mean Hiyuki doesn't need ER? Bro, have you played the unit? She needs ER, like, a lot, actually. Bro, have you even played her once? Time to move on. Take a look at tier 0.5. All right. This is probably the biggest category that we're seeing on the list over here. We got Agosta. Still very, very, very strong and consistent. I don't think anyone, like, but definitely does less damage than these characters. But in a lot of ways can feel better to use than some of these characters. I personally just find her clunky. Then we got Cardathea. Yeah, a lot of people might think she belongs in tier 0. I personally don't think so. It's very, very clear by now that her team doesn't necessarily measure up as much. And I think one of the main reasons for why is simply due to the fact that, like, if she consumed more erosion stacks with her attacks, maybe it'd be better. Or maybe if, like, erosion as a whole did more damage. But it's kind of just, like, it doesn't really do that much. Galbrina is in tier 0.5. I think that's fair because her damage definitely isn't at the same level of these three. But Galbrina has a shockingly high number of teams. A shockingly high number of teams. And I think she's actually in the, like, for most people, good if you're, like, dog shit at the game. However, Fusion is also kind of like the skill issue attribute because it has two brain dead DPS characters, which kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like maybe they should have been a different attribute because, like, she's brainless and then she's brainless too. So but you only kind of need one of them. So it's almost like I don't know, it feels like a misalignment here. That's my personal take. But yeah, Galbrina's still strong. Got the Chuyan team. She also got the Mornier Lupa team as well. Yuno. This is my take. I think Yuno main DPS is, like, bait. Because think about it this way. Instead of using Yuno as the main DPS, you could use Hiyuki or Imith. And in this situation, right, are you gonna be taking Hiyuki and Imith away from some of their best teams to go put in Yuno instead? She's good. She definitely gets the job done. She's powerful, but it's also kind of like you'd kind of just rather use her as a sub DPS in 99% of situations. What if it's Fusion and Glacio Resist? Then you would use Luke Herson because he's better in the team. Then you'd use Luke because he's more free-to-play friendly. What if I don't have Luke? Okay, if you're in the odd situation where you have Lene, Mornier, and you don't have Imith, you don't have Hiyuki, and you somehow don't have Luke as well, but you've got Lene and Mornier, sure, your Yuno's gonna have high value then, brother. Awesome. Yep, your Yuno's gonna have high value then. But that would require you to have skipped some of the most highly pulled units in the history of the game. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, it's good, but I feel like nobody ever plays this team because there are better... the units that she uses, Lene and Mornier, are going to be used by other characters. That's my personal take. Luke, best free-to-play unit in the game. Without a doubt, the best free-to-play unit in the game with the best free-to-play team. Like, Homeless Luke gets the job done on pretty much every floor that's not 3 and 4. The unfortunate thing is that without Homeless Luke has Sanhua and Verena, who simply don't deal any damage at all. And so the end result is that, like, if he's the only one dealing damage, you kind of need a good placement for him in the TO wave. Like, floors 1 and 2, and then he'll definitely fuck shit up. But for floors 3 and 4, you kind of need a sub DPS that's pulling more of their own weight. You get, like, a Lene for him and potentially a Denya in the future, and he's doing just fine. But yeah, it works very, very, very well on the standard gauntlet that you get. And of course, with this signature, he destroys a bunch of shit in the game. And then you got Frolova. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Frolova is still good, but I feel like her single target damage is starting to fall behind a little bit. My personal take is that I kind of don't do that well in the TOA with her. Not really that well. And oftentimes I do feel like I'm getting pretty close on timing in a way that I don't like. And we've been getting a lot of Havoc-resistant enemies. We've been getting a lot of Havoc-resistant enemies in the TOA. Probably because we don't have a lot of Havoc DPSs in the game. It's because you cancel her attacks so much. No, I don't. Yeah, this is how I know that. I haven't played Frolova in like 3 months in the TOA. So there would be no evidence of me canceling anything in any game mode. Anyways, yeah, I don't personally find her to be like that great in TOA. She's obviously amazing in WhiWa, but you're not going to be using Frolova that often because there's been so many Havoc-resistant enemies. Now we got the sub DPS category in tier 0.5, and this is the one over here that seems a little bit suspicious. Yeah, only Yuno is in here. Probably due to her ability to completely ruin shit with Augusta. I think everyone knows she's very good with Augusta. Yeah. I think this makes sense. The second we get like a tier 0 heavy attacker that Yuno works with, sure, right? I could see her moving up. I don't know how long it's going to be though until we get a tier 0 heavy attacker like that, right? Because I don't know if Kuro wants to like have almost like direct power creep where like Yuno gets a better partner than Augusta that's also a heavy attacker. That feels or seems like a bit odd, right? It feels like something that they wouldn't necessarily do because they're kind of like meant to be like the sun and the moon. I don't know, because Yuno's a straight 50% heavy attack amplification. It's different with Chuyan though, because I guess like he's just only echo skill. It is what it is. Chisa. She's meant to move up at some point in the future, specifically with Denya's release. I do see that happening. Makes a bunch of sense to me. And Verena, well, she's still solid, right? She's still good. She's still one of the most generalist supports in the game, but she definitely doesn't have the same damage amplifying or damage boosting capabilities as these two over here. Chisa, on the other hand, she's just a bit more selective. A bit more selective. And the cart team isn't that good, but with Imith and Fusion Burst, maybe she'll pop up. Now we got tier 1. Boy, oh boy, this is a little bit crazy. It's only Carlotta and Zoni over here. I think Zoni should actually be tier 1.5 and then get maybe an expert tag +2. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Zani without quick swap doesn't get close to clear the content that Carlotta can. So I really think she's tier 1.5 and then gets an expert +2 if you quick swap with her. Yeah, no, this unit is so fucking bad without quick swap. I'm sorry, I can't. Nah, I can't rationalize her being in tier 1. I think she needs to drop down and just get a +2 on the expert tag. Brant! Well, I mean, he's still strong. He's actually, when you think about it, yeah, he's actually still very strong. Like, with a good build and everything, bro. I'm still fucking everything up in the game with him. It's just, yeah, I don't think anyone owns this character because he hasn't reran in like a year. Heals, shields, really good damage for how short his rotation is. Has a great buff, too, for, like, Chang Li, but, like, she hasn't reran either. It is what it is. Yeah, I think he is. I don't think anyone thinks Brant is a weak character. I don't think anyone can complain about where he is. So, yeah. Arrow Rover dropping down. I think that's fair. I don't think Arrow Rover is that particularly amazing nowadays, and they do have the most dog shit gameplay probably in the history of the game. Spectral Rover. I don't think that they're that good as a support. Maybe they need an expert tag as well, because, like, don't they only kind of work with quick swap? Like, this character is definitely, without quick swap, like, tier 2. I think Spectral Rover needs an expert tag. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, no, without quick swapping with them on the team, they're fucking shit. Like, actually doo-doo water. So, probably, like, yeah, probably a jump down and then an expert tag +1. They're not even a unit without quick swap. It's almost mandated, so it might as well be factored in. All right, now we got tier 1.5. Brant! Coming in hot with an expert tag +1. Yes, if you run the Mornier Lupa team with him in quick swap, he's actually very, very, very good and clears a lot of the content. Phoebe, I don't know. I feel like she just doesn't do any damage anymore. And then Gian. Isn't Gian tier 1 in mono arrow? I think he's actually rated too low. Yeah, no, Gian should be a tier higher with Yuno and Chakota. Yeah, no, the Gian, Yuno, Chakota team does kind of fuck shit up in the game. Yeah, I think it might be a little bit too lowly. Well, I'll just have to prove it. Here we go again. SMFH. Out here trying to, like, say this character is tier 1.5 in their best team. You guys gotta be trolling. Yeah, we'll have all the signatures as well. Yeah, we're gonna be juicing it up today. Just so you know, without quick swap, this is better than the Zani team at a baseline. So, like, yeah, I've already showed it. I have a video comparing it in DPM. This team is better than the Zani one at a baseline. Oh, we have the Cancer Deer.
Let the show begin with style and grace. Taste
Oh, we got the
my
Cancer
resolve.
Deer.
Entertain me. World at my string. Causality, on you go.
Ready for battle. Fear no more.
Thanks for watching.
Bro, I forgot that this is possibly the most annoying boss in the game.
A perfect chord.
This is possibly the most annoying 3 costs in the game.
I'll indulge you.
Oh!
On you go. Answer my call. Foe, be my prey.
You're wide open. Unstoppable.
Yo, get down!
Retreat to advance. 7.
Oh, I missed a Changelog cancel too. Oh, I'm fucking shaming my family right now.
Thanks for watching.
So yeah, even into an arguably dog shit matchup, these are the results we're getting, ladies and gentlemen.
A poem of finale.
Arguably into like a just not good matchup.
On you go. Praise me. The moon is full. Fate in my mark.
Ready
I think
for
this is
battle.
with no shilling
Fear no
too.
more.
Yeah, this is with no shilling too.
A perfect chord. Let the show begin. I'll indulge you. Answer my call. Foe, be my prey. Causality.
You're wide open.
Overturn.
Unstoppable.
Here we go. Did bro just get an off-screen parry like that? You telling me that's tier 1.5, bro? With no buffs? Literally nothing. Bro, that's better than Zani. That's better than Carlotta. That's better than that's better than every other team in tier 1. That has to be tier 1 minimum. Show them on the 4th floor. Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Now presenting a poem of finale. I'll indulge you. On you. The moon is
False sovereign about to cook you? Nah.
World at my strength.
Ready for battle. Fear no more.
Ah!
Thanks for watching. Ta-da! A grand overture. A perfect listen. The trio of destiny. With style and grace. Taste my
Here we
resolve.
go. Here we go.
Foe, be my prey. Future.
You're wide open.
Reshape.
Unstoppable. Finale.
Thanks for watching.
Guys, this is not actually a great matchup either. This guy's a fucking menace. He teleports so much during Gion's shit, it's crazy. Wait, did my ult not hit? Oh, I forgot to use... Oh, dear.
Now watch closely. Present your... On you go.
Oh, I forgot to use her heavy attack.
Answer
Oh, that's not good.
my call.
See?
Nonsense.
You see, we even fucked up, bro. Oh, we're extending this rotation. Oh, dear. Oh, that's not good.
Causality.
Ready for battle.
Overturn.
Fear no more.
Yeah, we kind of messed up here.
Don't you worry.
Wait, what is this? How did he... That didn't matter because he bugged out there. He bugged out there first. Hey, editor, delete that run. Yeah, now let's test it out on floor 4, guys. We're about to fuck this shit up. Yeah, and just so you guys know, this isn't like a great matchup either because this guy like teleports like crazy. Yeah, he teleports like crazy.
Trio of destiny.
Yeah, he teleports like crazy, bro.
Taste my resolve.
Imagine they add Hivatia. I would leave that reset. I'm good, bro. She is not fun to fight against.
You're wide open.
Reveal.
Unstoppable.
Hivatia is possibly the most unfun boss to fight against in the game. Bro, can you not? Dude!
Settle.
Thanks for watching. A perfect chord. Now presenting. a
Wait, he
power
actually
of finale.
teleported 40 times!
On you go. Answer my call. Foe, be my prey.
Ready for battle. Fear no more. Finale.
Thanks for
Dude!
Wonders and tragedies go together. Faster. Let the show begin. With style and grace.
Bro, I have never seen the guy evade this much before.
The moon is full.
You're wide open. Unstoppable.
I can take it. I last a momentary.
Yeah, you know what?
setback.
Maybe Gian is not playable this reset. Yeah, nah, it's just that one's not good. The False Sovereign is actually a dog shit boss. I'm sorry. The False Sovereign, it's not just Gian that has issues with that guy, okay? I think almost every unit in the game that isn't ranged has problems against that guy. Gian's damage, at the very least, I think it's easily tier 1 level, like I've been saying before. So, yeah. Now let's move on to the sub-DPSs. All right, sub-DPS characters we got. Frolova, Mortefi, Phoebe. Can we just put Phoebe down to tier 2 and give her an expert tag? Very cool. Cantarella, because she's Frolova's partner, sorry. Cantarella is actually one of the worst units in the game. I think all of us can kind of realize that at this point. And the only reason why she's, like, probably not, like, tier 4 is because Frolova's in the game and Cantarella could give her Echo skill cast. But, like, otherwise, this bitch does no damage. Her buffs don't even feel that good for Frolova. Her buffs are super Giga specific too, and it's just even her healing. It feels like it's out of place. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of her. I don't really like her. Mortefi is still a good free to play unit, and so is Sanhua, but that's kind of like the main thing that they're providing right now. Their buffs definitely aren't at the same level that they were at the start of the game. Bu Ling. Maybe Bu Ling is actually a lot higher in, like, resident skill-focused teams. I think she's actually quite good with Frolova, and she's quite good with Carlotta, right? That's what I've heard, especially at S6. So, maybe she should be higher, because I think she's actually a good unit, but I think nobody ever plays her, though. That's my personal take. Now we got tier 2 DPSs. Is Camellia really tier 3? I feel like Camelia's actually a bit understated over here, lady. I don't think she's that bad. I don't think Camelia's that bad. Enemy has Havoc resistance. Yeah, that's floor 4. You could still use her here with no real issues. Yeah, you could still use her here with no issues. What the fuck do you guys even mean? Try it? I don't need to. Camelia's not that bad. She's not like fucking Havoc Rover or Ling Yang level. I don't know. I think she's tier 2 minimum. Yeah, no, they're definitely understating her. Let's try it. No, I don't need to. I've cleared with her a bunch of times already. Guys, tier 3 would mean that you, like, struggle here. That's what tier 3 would mean, is that you, like, struggle here and you're barely clearing here. All right, how about this? If I play this and we clear it easy, we're banning everyone in the chat that asked me to play it. Do you still want me to play it? Because at this point, you're just wasting people's time. So we'll ban the people that wasted time. So you still want me to play it? We're gonna look into the logs and ban everybody that asked, because you're just retarded at this point. And you're just trying to waste everyone's time. All right, let's do it. All right, mods, get ready to ban people. Do you think Zhang Liao, Jinxie, or Encore clears 4-3? She's below them by a whole fucking tier. I'm saying she should be in tier 2. And you guys are like, oh, I think I need proof. I think I need proof that she's actually at the same level as Jinxie and Zhang Liao. That's why we're banning people.
Like frigid death.
Are we real?
Astral modulation. Stay behind me.
Hello? She's a better unit. She's a better unit than, what's it called?
Entertain me.
Oh, I don't believe you.
It's getting fun. Vitality sour.
Yeah, I just took a look at her instantly sweep those waves. I'm gonna need proof though, buddy. I don't think I believe you.
Fun. Vow from the soul. Stay calm, okay? And great. Frozen blockade. Look, I engraft you new. Stay behind me. Sprout of budding seed. Don't run. Keep the dance going. It's getting fun. Crimson blossom. It's getting fun. Keep dancing. How pathetic. Ordained. frigid depths.
Loading. In war with time.
You need proof of this?
Stay behind me.
Bloom from ashen shell. Feed my blossoms, self-deceivers.
We even missed a crit too. Unlucky.
Drafting, suffer. It's getting fun. It's getting fun. Let's have fun. Oath from the heart.
Frozen blockade.
Physical astral modulation.
Stay behind me.
Oh, I fucked up.
Not worth mentioning. A change of perception.
Reborn from ancient roots. It's getting fun. Don't run.
Oh, I'm even griefing too in the run.
Going. Crimson blossom.
Like, do you think that's worse than what a Jinxie or Zhang Liao does? You needed proof that she could clear? So do you think Havoc Rover and Ling Yang are going to get better clears than that one? Because we're talking about her not being tier 3. So you're telling me these units are going to get better clears over here, like wildly better clears, or these two units are going to get the same level of clears? Are you guys on drugs? What kind of retardation was possessing you guys? I need proof that Camellia is actually better than Havoc Rover and Ling Yang. Yeah, I don't believe Saint. I need to see it live. In tier 3, we got Ling Yang, or we got Dan Jin, Rosia, and I think it's fair to say these guys aren't as bad as these guys. Yeah, no, these are just unplayable. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. And in tier 4, you got Calcharo and Chisha. I feel like Calcharo with Lene Morty is actually like somewhat decent. Maybe he's the guy on expert tag +2, and then these are just trash and these are unplayable. Yeah, the TOA list looks pretty spot on for me, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the dumbasses that unfortunately showed up today for some of the gameplay sections. Yeah, sure, there we go. Now let's take a look at the WhiWa changelog. Hiyuki, added as a tier 1 and put on the watch list up. I think Hiyuki's actually a tier 0.5 unit. Yeah, I really do, because Hiyuki's got some good multi-hit nukes in her kit where she can blow up one wave and then have her big hit completely hit on the second. It's actually very similar to Sigrika, how she operates. So for now, I genuinely do think she's tier 0.5, even without the Glacial Chase support that they're talking about over here. To be honest, the Hiyuki team is ass on WhiWa. You have no idea what you're doing when you're playing her then. Anyways, Amith, put on the watch list up. As Fusion Burst is the intended AoE-centric resonance mode for Amith, she was put on the watch list for Denya's release. Fair. Chisa, added on the watch list for up. Yeah, probably same logic as Denya over here. Alright, so, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the WhiWa changelog is anything that crazy. It's basically just, hey, we're bumping down the supports. Wait, I need to read the logic for why they're bumping them down. What the fuck? We're changing the placement of the 3 previous top supports, Shorekeeper, Mortier, Verita. The reason for this is because less and less characters at the top are relying on them to perform. They're not wrong. Shorekeeper, Verita, and Mortier aren't really on the best WhiWa teams at the moment. For example, Frolova's team doesn't run any of those 3. Sigrika's team is better with Chakona. Yeah, no, it's... And the Augusta team is probably the best one with Shorekeeper, but that's like a tier 1 team. So yeah, Shorekeeper being a tier 0.5 looks fine to me, yeah. WhiWa, you don't get hit. You can literally run triple DPS and just run regular rotations and not even actively dodge, and you will be like 90% HP on everybody. Yeah, so Galbraina, Lupa, Mortier, that's a tier 1 team. It's not like a tier 0.5 one, so yeah. I think it makes sense. And any team that uses Brant, well, Mono Fusion, yeah, that doesn't use more. I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't really dispute that. I don't think there's anything crazy about it. Yeah, the WhiWa list just hasn't really changed recently. It's just Sigrika and Frolova are the 2 best WhiWa characters in the game. And my meta strategy for everybody here is, if you want to brainlessly clear WhiWa every reset, you go Frolova, or you go Frolova, Cantarella, and Rosia. And then for the other side, you can replace Rosia with Dan Jin, by the way. And then you go on the other side, Sigrika, Chuyan, and then Chikona. Replace Rosia with Dan Jin, Sigrika, Chuyan, Chikona, and then you're just fucking easy clearing every single reset. Otherwise, the list really hasn't changed at all. I would say the main thing is Hiyuki, I think, is better than tier 1. I think as people figure out how to rotate with her better, hit damage thresholds much more intelligently, stuff like that, she's a bit of like a Sigrika in that regard. You can fuck up Sigrika's like damage patterns, use abilities at the wrong time, and literally miss out on blowing up an entire wave for free. Hiyuki has similar mechanics on her heavy attack and of course her liberation cast, where if you time her liberation cast properly, you can use it to finish off a wave, and then the next one will spawn in before the big slash happens, and so you delete 2 waves at once using the ability. Having a single attack that can delete 2 waves at once is incredibly strong in the game mode, but you gotta know how to like time it, know the damage thresholds and stuff like that to do stuff like that properly. And so it's kind of like, I think as people figure out how to use her well, I think she actually goes up into tier 0.5. I don't think she's at the level of Frolova or Sigrika, but definitely not at the same level as these guys. I think she's much better. Other than that, though, Chisa's going up because of her Hiyuki interactions, and of course, the fact that Denya and Ameth in the Fusion Burst team should be here soon. I think Ameth is definitely maybe going to go up to tier 0.5 as well with their Fusion Burst specialty. But yeah, otherwise, WhiWa's kind of just like the fucking same. I don't think we need to talk about it too much because everyone kind of knows Kart's not good, Zadi's not good. Unironically, these units are very, very good, and you kind of don't want to use anyone else that much in the game mode. Yeah, Frolova definitely doesn't have the right, Camellia doesn't really have, like, the damage anymore, specifically with only having Rosia as her best in slot, so that makes sense. And, yeah, the rest of these guys are 2 single target. Augusta should be higher. She's not actually, like, that. She's not, like, ball-bustingly broken. You guys know that, right? I mean, that's what the list is looking like over here. I know the WhiWa section is short, but there's almost never any changes done to it, and I don't, like, really disagree with the placement of stuff too much. Cancerable is much higher than she is in TOA, specifically because her AoE is actually really good, and then she's, like, Frolova's best in slot, and then Chuyan is just a broken fucking unit for both of these two. Yeah, there you go. Your first tier 0 male, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I think that's going to be it for the regular tier list, the breakdown for now. We'll probably cover the value one later because this video is getting kind of long. So why don't we go ahead? Why don't we just take a review and take a look at what Hiyuki's page looks like from Prydwen. See what the pros and cons are looking like over here and whether or not they're spitting or they're making up some bullshit. All right, pros. The best Glacio DPS by a huge margin in her best team. Literally no competition since Carlotta. Sure, I guess. Big AoE hits spread across her rotation alongside grouping. That's why she's a tier 0.5 in WhiWa. Yeah, they're basically talking about how good she is. All of her long animations pause in-game timers or at least grant invulnerability, meaning she doesn't have windows where she's especially vulnerable. I would say try to do her 5, like try to get her 3 Frost Heart stacks or 300 Frost Heart for the Yai attacks is kind of cancerous sometimes, but I don't know. Maybe if you use more of her air attacks, it'll be different. Cons: very few alternatives and teammates. Lene and Chisa are both huge power-ups that lock Hiyuki's full potential. Though Chisa is replaceable by Mornier if Lene is present, that's the only replacement comparable to her best team by a lot. Overall, not the most free-to-play friendly damage dealer ever released. I will say, though, she does not need her signature at, like, fucking all. Not at all. I've never, like, she's straight up. If you have her teammates, you don't need her sig. It's the same situation as Imeth. If you don't have Imeth's sig, it's fine if you have Imeth's teammates. Weapon alternatives are lacking as well, but free-to-play options work fine on her. Why is that a con? What? This doesn't even look like a con. Why? Wait, what the fuck? This sounds like it's green. Cons. Signature is skippable. They're just goofing around at this point. So, yeah, good thing we took a review at that because some people could actually view that as a negative thing. Oh, right. They probably put this in for Gotcha Smack because of, like, that weird Augusta weapon video where he said, like, where he crashed out because the Augusta weapon wasn't strong enough. Anyways, that's going to be it for the Prydwen tier list review, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta say, quite a bit of updates I would actually like to see on the pure raw TOA side. Whimpering Waste looks good to me with some adjustments to Hiyuki, but Yeah, the list does start getting a little bit questionable as we get into like tier 1 and beyond, specifically in the DPS category. I think he needs to go up. I think she needs to go down and get some more expert tags. And I think I don't think she's tier 3. I don't think she's Ling Yang level. This just looks crazy. But yeah, other than that, looking pretty solid. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.